Hey everybody, Vilisink back again with Raid Shadow Legends, another video. And this one, we're going to be talking about epics that should go, some epics that should go to level 60, really without question. Some are great in progression, some are good for damage, some are good all round. And if you have these champions, you potentially have them at 60, depending on your account. So we're going to jump in, and I tried to keep the list the champions that I have, that I've used, so I can, rather than me saying take Urticata from Demon Spawn, make her 60. I've never used her, so I wouldn't want to give information or an opinion on a champion I've not really used or I'm not familiar with at least. So let's jump on in to the champions page. How is everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing well. It's the second day into the new week, so I hope everybody's surviving, staying strong, taking care of yourself and others, and let's jump into it. So, first champion that pretty much you will take to 60, pretty much no questions, Urigrim. Yes, he got nerfed, but that doesn't really change the fact that he is still extremely powerful. I got Urigrim, I was lucky to get Urigrim, and it was just insane. Twin continuous heals, triple hit poison, his sustainability, he's still alive, his damage, he can kill him and Sylar can just destroy everybody in Dragon 24, 25. It's insane. So his kit is, pardon me, he now attacks twice on one enemy, and there's a chance of landing a 5% poison. It's still 2 poisons that if you put him in the right gear set, like Relentless or Frenzy and so forth, can quickly become 6 or 8 and so on. He has Tingly Tincture, which removes all debuffs from an ally, then heals them by 40% of their max HP. So it's like a cleanse and a heal, which is never a bad thing and is always really good. Urigrim is such a fantastic healer. Places 2 5% poison debuffs on all enemies. Used to be 3, but 2 is still very much acceptable. And a continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. It used to be 2 continuous heal allies, well, 2 continuous heal buffs. Again, but one single continue, he can still keep people alive. He can still do his job. Slightly worse off due to the nerf, but still a fantastic champion. If you want to see how good Urigrim is, before he was nerfed, I did videos. Go check him out. But the next champion that you're going to take to level 60, without asking any questions, is Rolguard. Rolguard is the spider killing, wave clearing, OG SOB GOD. Here you go. How's that for making stuff up on camera? He is old school, he's badass. I got a second one that I haven't built yet, but I will. I think I'm going to make one slightly faster unless I change what I have here. I may change this gear sets to be fair, but the crit damage is insane, so I sacrificed speed to make him up like 5k damage, 300% crit damage. Why you're going to take him to 60 without question is decent A1, decreased defense debuff for 2 turns, hamstring his A3, 4 hits at random. Still, it's a multi-hitter which makes him Fahrenheit visible. Each hit can place decreased speed, where it has a chance to for 2 turns, and it can also decrease turn meter. Great everywhere. But you're going to make him a level 60 for takedown, for the 3 million damage, the 3.5 million damage, the ridiculous powerful move that he has. I will say that if you take Roller Guard, he kind of excels maybe like stages 15, 16 onwards. Anything before, and the HP is just too low, so therefore the scaling of this move will not be too high. But if you go to level 20 Spider, like 24, 25 Fire Knight, although it's capped higher up, it's still decent damage. Have fun inspired by this champion. You'll understand why he has to be 60. Next up, we have another champion who pretty much stops people taking a turn. I got Sylar. I immediately built her. I put her in a stun set, accuracy set. And the stun set is good because any hit can place a stun. Well, 18, no, is it, what's the percentage? Because I cannot remember for the life of me. Tap on this info. 18% chance, so it is 18%. So 18% chance to place a stun. And if you look at Surge, AoE, Toxic Cloud, AoE. So a double AoE, effectively, if every enemy is getting a hit, then stun set is extremely feasible. Decrease speed, decrease timing by 40%, super strong. If you add the stuns and the decrease accuracy, and the constant stuns from the set, again, I've got videos on Sylar, she's ridiculously good. She also has increased ally speed and fast increase by 22%, so go for that speed in fast increase if you need to. 22% is a fantastic aura. Leading legs, insane. If you're in an arena and she goes before you and uses this on your team, then your team is not going to take a turn. The stun set is what I put her in. Is what I recommend you put her in. She will, doesn't matter where you put her, stop people taking a turn. Any dungeon, challenge them to take a turn because they won't. Next up, we have another OG SOB badass champion, Seer. Seer, who once upon a time could one-shot stage 20 Spider. How about that? I've seen a video with Sir Nick and some other champions were putting buffs up. Everybody had like 6 buffs on them. She ate them all and it was like 7 million damage. Insane. She got nerfed since then, but regardless, still badass due to a move that we'll get to in a minute. Knockouts, 15% chance to place next turn. I mean, it's decent. It can definitely help work your cooldowns. I've seen it proc 3-4 times in a row. She will put weaken on the enemies, which weaken should not be mistaken. Weaken is very good. Up until stages 15-16, weaken is the better debuff, because decreased defense, there's no point decreasing the defense of your enemies if you're on stage 5 or 10, because they're not going to have really high defense. Weaken just guarantees more damage regardless. Decreased defense I recommend for as you progress on a little bit, but every account to itself. She also places increased crit rate on all allies, which is good because Sarah likes to eat buffs. If you put her with people that put up buffs, Mars Mage, you can put her with Archmage Helmet, Shield set, get people blood shield accessories, immunity sets. She will clear waves. Go on YouTube, watch the videos. Look how badass Seer is. Increases ally resist in all battles by 40. So, everybody knows how, but I can talk about Seer, but we really don't need to. We know how badass she is. Everybody knows Seer. Seer is old school. Next up, Monitor. Why will you take Monitor to 60? Simple. For more damage. In your clan boss team, unkillable. If you get 2 Monitors, it's awesome. I've only got 1 so far, which is really poop. I would love a second one. He's also good in faction wars, but primarily he is the king of clan boss, the unkillable realm where you can take in this champion, a painkeeper, and you can keep your whole team unkillable just by making them certain speeds and so forth. His skills: decrease attack on all enemies if he crits, which for faction crits is quite nice. They place the target's turn meter, force the champion's turn meter equal to the amount the target loses. So give him accuracy. This could work. I mean, I really use him for clan boss, but people do use him for fast encryption, give him some more accuracy just to pass that check. But what you're going for is this champion receives damage. He'll then place unkillable and block damage, block debuffs on himself or all allies for 2 turns. Damage received is equal to 5% for each ally alive. So he'll take some damage, but he's continually putting up the unkillable, so after a certain point he protects himself. Basically, if you want to 1-2 key Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, get a monitor. If you want to have some security, potentially in Spider, which is actually somebody who's really good as a tank. If you want to keep your champions alive in a wave in dungeons, or if you want to take him in to Doom Tower to help you progress, he can definitely do that. But he is the king of clan boss. He is the reason that I do respectively well keys, and I have worked my arse off to get my clan boss team kinda the way it is and to do the damage that they do. So he's a 60, no questions asked. Next up is another no questions asked level 60 champion, Miscreated Monster. He's just a badass. A lot of these champions are a badass. Maybe I need to get a different word, describe them differently, but they're all very good in their own respective ways. If he can hit twice on his A1, chance to place a stun. If he lands the stun, he can also land a decreased defense, which does land. You will want to give him some accuracy because the stuns are just OP and he'll stun everybody. Lightning Storm, chance to place a stun debuff for a turn, and depending on how much damage he does, 25% of that will be your shield. So if you go into Spider, for instance, you'd have to give him more crit damage than I currently have. He can fill his health bar with a shield, and it's that easy. Then you can take in your Cold Hearts and your very delicate champions, your attack champions, your enemy max HP nukers, and you can do some real damage. This can also keep you alive as far as just progression in, again, dungeons, Doom Tower, everywhere. Ally protection, 50% ally protection buff on all allies except himself. He heals himself by 50% of his HP, so if he has 100,000 HP, he'll get 50,000, and he gets a continuous heal buff for 3 turns. This is nice, but be wary that it can actually kill him. Depending on where you go, if Miscreated Monster takes a lot of damage protecting your allies, it will kill him. So be wary. I've seen, for instance, like Ice Golem stage 20. If used incorrectly, this can kill him, or if he takes too much damage, it can kill him. But other than that, he's a CCing machine. I love him in Ice Golem, along with Nethril, the tag team, or I can take Miscreated Monster. I can take Syl because of her passive heal and so forth. And she's, if my Syl in I believe she's in a stun set also. So there we go, double stuns. Miscreated Monster, nice rev. Faction Wars viable, Doom Tower viable, everywhere viable. Hell, campaign viable as well. So a few more champions, just so we don't bore you too much. Quickly, we've got Skull Crown, who everybody knows is just an insane damage dealer. And if Wave of Souls loads up, it says AoE places an extra hit if the target has more than 50% HP, which means she'll effectively have a double AoE. And if you pair her with Sinesha, her sister, who does a hit, an extra hit if they have less than 40% HP, i.e. the blender, comp and whatnot, they can be very good. The Corrupting Touch is just awesome. AoE, chance to place a weaken For what I'm using her for, I don't need that weaken. I just need pure damage. She is my campaign farmer. I haven't 6-starred Fellhound yet, or worked on him yet, so she can absolutely continue to do what she does. She has a nice passive where she can put unkillable on herself. Every time their HP drops below 20%, but there's a cooldown. Effectively what it means is you can't get one shot because this unkillable pops up. That's all it is. Unless you have a Rotos or somebody that can ignore it. And if her sister's on the same team, when it's killed, Skullcrown will be revived with 30% HP. Overall, old school, can be built many different ways. Can be your campaign farmer, can be your arena specialist. You can use her just to clear waves. You can give her a little bit of HP and give her some sustainability and damage. So we're not going to waste too much time. So level 60, Geomancer. I recently made Geomancer. It was between this champion and Madame Ceres. Madame Ceres, you should absolutely take the 60. Mind you, still at 50. Because I wanted Geomancer for clan boss. Hence, he has this build here. Which is not actually that bad. I'm looking, and this is his Nightmare, I believe, speed. There's a different weapon he has if I put him into Ultra Nightmare. But basically, all you want to use him for, he does have decreased accuracy, AoE, which can be very nice. You can remove buffs from an enemy that attacks him. You'll steal the buffs instead if they're under the HP burn he places. If they're under a HP burn, Quicksand Grasp will have its cooldown reduced by 2 turns, which is the HP burn and weaken. And the HP burn and weaken, I recently spoke with Geomancer, is part of the key. So the HP burn will enable you to get so much damage when you're in clan boss and you use him as your stun target. Or that's the position I use him in. When everybody gets slammed, you're going to see War Master procs coming off. You're going to see all this reflected damage when he takes the single shot stun. You're going to see a proc come off of clan boss and that's damage. And an unbooked Geomancer did 40 million on Force Nightmare clan boss. I believe it was Nightmare or was it Ultra Nightmare? I believe it actually could be Ultra Nightmare, because I booked out Geomancer the same night. He then did 58 million. So he went from like 7.5 million damage to like 25 million damage. That just goes to show that's all his passive. That's all you're using it for. I mean, which means he could be extremely viable for a Hydra. When you constantly get attacked, he can beat some of that damage back. He can absolutely help in your progression. But for me, he's a level 60 champion and I use him in clan boss. And I'm going to use him in clan boss potentially for quite some time. So next up we have a free champion, Stag Knight. Shield looks badass, champion looks badass, and he's free. He is your debuffer. He will do decreased defense, decreased attack on his A2 Huntmaster and a 3-turn cooldown. He also has a double hitter on the A1, decreased speed for 2 turns, which means he's great. I use him in Fire Knight late on stages. I take him Ice Golem, I can take him into Hydra, I can take him into Clan Boss. He's a very versatile champion, has a nice passive. Increased accuracy buff on an ally for 1 turn each time the ally has a debuff resisted. There's no cooldown. So if I go in with Skullcrown and then the weaken doesn't apply, so I get increased accuracy, and then after that, if Man-Eater's decreased attack doesn't go on, then increased accuracy goes on him, and so forth. That's kind of how that works. And again, he looks badass, he's free. You only have to play the game, I believe, like 120, 150 days. I can't remember the exact amount, but he is truly worth it. And I remember making him 60 and be so happy with myself. And mine also does a respectable amount of damage in his perception accuracy build. So Stag Knight is a surefire level 60 champion. If you don't 60 him, I will find you and I will make you 60 him. Simple as that. Next up, Seeker. Seeker is good everywhere. Seeker is a underrated champion that not a lot of people use. I feel they may know how good he is, but they may never use him. And I have mine built to be quite fit. 249 speed, respectable HP, and 370 accuracy. So I can take him in to Hydra if I wanted to. Don't know if he'd really be that much use. Doom Tower is good because of his accuracy. He's good in all dungeons. He's good in arena. If you make him really fast in arena, relentless set, you give him the masteries to get turn meter or reduce cooldown. He can continually provoke your champions. That is bloody annoying. Now, as well as that, provoke on the A1 takes a lot of books, but it goes up to what, 50% chance, so it's 50-50 every time he takes a turn. It's a 2-hitter, so if the first one will not provoke, the second one normally will. He also has turn meter fill of all allies by 30% and an increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. Gets an extra turn. So this is 3 turns. He gets an extra turn, which makes that a 2-turn cooldown. Goes to provoke for a couple of turns, goes back here. Gives everybody turn meter, blah blah blah, and goes back at, and then provokes. It's so annoying in arena, but can be such a clutch champion. He's in the Battle Eater comp and clan boss. He's truly fantastic. Now his passive here heals this ally by 20% and places increased defense on all allies for 2 turns when hit with a crit hit. So if you target him, like an AoE sets it off obviously because he's getting hit. Or if you try to take Seeker out and so forth, everybody, even if you kill him, this passive will apply. Everybody will get an increased defense buff for 2 turns. And that's pretty much it. It's such a clutch passive. And he used to get a lot of play. I feel like clan bosses made him get more play, but it's the same as Doom Screech, who would give you turn meter fill and increased defense. I feel they're slightly underused champions, but Seeker's fantastic. I love taking Seeker in arena. He's quite clutch in faction wars, controlling the Valks, controlling champions with like the highest turn meter. He can absolutely do that for you. He's a 60, no questions asked. You know what you're doing. So we'll end the video on the Spirit Trunda. I say the Spirit Trunda because he hits as hard as Trunda. The build here is kind of crap, I'm not going to lie. I do have to remove this gear from him. I'm going to maybe grind to get some more silver. I do have 70 plus million, but it can disappear so fast after you try a couple of builds and you level a couple of pieces and those pieces don't work out. You level something else. That's when you know you've got like 2 million left. But Magnar is a hard-hitting son of a bitch, HP based champion. Attacks one enemy 5% chance, can book it to be higher, but it's decreased defense, and it's a 100% chance instead if the target is under a HP burn. So if you put him with a HP burn, he's nice. But if you don't put him with a HP burn champion, and you don't have HP burn champion, he will attack all enemies, and if they're not under HP burn, he attacks again, which Boomer actually did a video. 69 Boomer 42420, yeah boy. Check him out on YouTube. He used, before the empowerment, he used Magna for Arena Reset, and he was killing people with this champion. High HP, crit capped, some crit damage, the relevant speed, and that's it. The first hit was 60,000-70,000. The second hit was more, and it's all to do with not having HP burn. So fan the flames, applies a debuff spread, taking 2 random debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies for 2 turns under HP burn debuffs. So this is not really what I used him for. I used him for the double hitter, but if you have HP burn, also increases the duration of it by a turn. You will not spread fear, true fear, freeze, provoke, sleep or stun. which means he can spread poisons, he can still spread many other debuffs. I mean, it's okay, it's not... It hits okay also, but this percussive pound here will clear a lot of people of their HP. This champion heals 1% of their max HP every time anyone in the battle takes damage from a HP burn debuff. Another reason you could potentially put him with Akoff or a hit like Venus for HP burn, and he can heal back his HP. He is HP based, so he will have a crap load of HP. He has a nice aura for Doom Tower, 30% defense for all allies. Guys, I think that's a rather interesting video so far. Again, there is many other champions that you will take to 60. And many more that I maybe should have mentioned. That is just some on the list. You can look through your own account and so forth and see that there's hundreds of epics that should go straight to 60, but this was, we see, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 epics that should go to level 60. No questions asked. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm Vilisink. Stay safe, keep on reading, and I'll see you next time.